In an era of hopelessness, a time of destruction, gaming came to an end. In 2006, Sony, the godfather and rightful protector of all things gaming, received a mortal wound. Industry insiders at Microsoft and Nintendo caused Kaz Hirara to fumble his words during Sony's E3 press conference. Instead of saying 599 US toddlers, he said,
$599 US.
This flub caused Sony to lose all their momentum going into a new generation of gaming. It was the worst of times. The genius minds at Sony were struggling to combat the other game consoles. How could they possibly win back the hearts of gamers without stooping to the levels of their competitors? The answer was simple. Create a handheld gaming console that no one could ruin. The ingenious designers at Sony began work on the NGP, their next generation portable. Nintendo grew fearful and quickly launched a new handheld, the Nintendo 3DS. The handheld was super underpowered, had no games, and cost way too much money. Nintendo knew this and quickly began porting old Nintendo 64 games to the handheld and slashed the price to attract more nostalgic gamers. Sony remained calm. Their new handheld would cost a reasonable amount and have plenty of games. At E3 2011, Sony unveiled their new handheld, the PlayStation Vita. In Latin, Vita means life, which makes perfect sense when you consider the Vita is still around to this day. The crowd cheered every time an announcement was made. One member of the audience fainted upon hearing that the Vita would support 3G networking capabilities through AT&T.
As the exclusive carrier for PlayStation Vita in the United States.
Microsoft, fearing the powerful new console, quickly shifted course away from their planned handheld, the Xbox Micro. Instead, they would make crappy Kinect games and bad decisions. Nintendo powered on, hoping to once again trick Sony into their own demise. Nintendo, the greedy, backhanded company they are, stole Monster Hunter from Sony. With making the series exclusive to the 3DS, Nintendo hoped to defeat Sony before the console war even started. But sleek graphics and the most powerful handheld ever created wouldn't be stopped so easily. The PlayStation Vita launched in Japan in December 2011, with other territories receiving it in February of 2012. The launch of the system in Japan caused the Tokyo Stock Exchange to see a nosedive as everybody quit their job to play Army Corps of Hell. Kaz Hirara, now the emperor of Sony's entire portfolio, became the richest man in history overnight, with a net worth of over $1 trillion. Great games were found across the entire PlayStation Vita library. Uncharted Golden Abyss, Gravity Rush, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, Crazy Taxi, Knack, Big Bumpin', and more graced the system at launch. Nintendo had nothing to even show in 2012 with their underpowered and gimmicky 3DS. Sony had unlocked the secret to a great game console with the Vita, making it so powerful that it could never fail, and the great games kept pouring in. Nothing could stop Sony at this point. The PlayStation 4 arrived on the market to beat off Microsoft and Nintendo's attempts at new consoles, but the 3DS continued to breathe. Sony had one final plan to defeat the 3DS. After paying millions of dollars, Sony received the hottest game of 2012 for the PlayStation Vita, Borderlands 2. It would all be over soon. The next few years of history are largely unknown. From Borderlands 2 release on the Vita in 2014 until early 2017, many of the history books have had their pages ripped at the seams. All we do know is that Nintendo attempted to copy the Vita with their own handheld, the Nintendo Switch. The Switch was an utter failure, with almost all of its games being ports from the previous generation. I mean, who wants to play old games on a handheld a few years after they've already been released? The PlayStation Vita continues its dominance to this day, outselling every other game system ever. Over 200 million PlayStation Vitas have been sold since launch, with over 2 billion games sold for the system. Rumors have it that Sony is hard at work on a new PlayStation handheld, said to be so powerful that it might actually be able to run The Legend of Dragoon 2. But until that day comes, we must patiently wait and play Shovel Knight King of Cards on our PlayStation Vita.
I thought nobody liked the Vita.